Hey everyone, we are live here for a super quick, kind of super quick-ish 30-minute or so live stream. So I just figured I'd come out here. The weather was perfect, and we normally have, I might have to move the umbrella, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the sun gets a little too. It's kind of cutting me off in half here. Maybe I'll just move a little bit. But yeah, so the weather was just stunning. I figured, you know what? Let's come out here and let's do a Q&A. So so what I want to do about the topic of the Q&A is here. I'm going to because the sun is coming in at such a strange angle, I'm going to adjust the umbrella here. I'm gonna bring out the umbrella. I didn't think I'd need it today. Oops. Okay, all right. Okay. Alrighty. All right, we good? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure we're coming in. Alrighty. So, yeah. So you guys can answer questions. It does not matter what you ask. I wanted to kind of keep it on topic for at least a little bit of it, because I wanted to make sure that it does kind of stay relevant to what I wanted to talk about, which is the MIgardener mission, or just you know, the MIgardener MIgardener side of things. And so if you want to ask, it can be personal questions, it can be you know, MIgardener related information, things like that, or MIgardener related questions. I've never done a live stream about that before, and I think it'd be fun so that you all can get to know me for the, you know, 15, 20, 30 minutes that I have available here. So so yeah, so ask away. I did see some comments rolling in through here. Hello, Santa Ana Road Wildman. Hello. Hello from Belgium. Hey, how's it going? And thank you, Kev L. Your videos are great. I appreciate it. Okay. First question from Maddie Wilson: is MIgardener your full-time job? Yes, Maddie. Yes, MIgardener is my full-time job. I started MIgardener when I was in high school. It was just a fun thing that I was doing, and I never really expected it to be a business. But then when I entered college, I started realizing, okay, I've got to do something that I have to do something to pay the bills. And at that time, I was working at a commercial greenhouse, and I had always had a passion for gardening, and the commercial greenhouse thing wasn't really panning out. It was seasonal. It was just really long hours, very demanding of my time, and it wasn't really the vegetable side of things. It was more the the flower side of things. And so I didn't quite love it as much as I thought I would. And so I said, you know what? Let's see if we can monetize on this. Let's see if we can turn this into a business. And so I started contacting sponsors, and I started, you know, the seed store. I started selling trifecta, and I just started making a business based around free information for everyone. And so yeah, so that it's grown into a full-time business. I'm so blessed for all of your support, so that I can stay home with not only my wife but also my daughter, and I get to do what I love every single day. So it's totally a win-win situation. Let's see here. If you had to, sorry, one second. Karshana Bain, if you had to buy composted soil, from which brand or company would you suggest? If I had to buy bagged soil, it would probably be, well, I don't know, bagged compost specifically, I would not buy bagged compost. And the reason being is you can't tell where the source is. No one that sells bagged compost will kind of give you a guaranteed source of where it's at. I don't care where. I mean, there's amazing ones out there like Fox Farm. There's where people have rave reviews about this stuff. But my whole point is you still don't know exactly where they're sourcing it from. I don't care if it's a $70 brand or a $5 brand. There's no way to know where it's coming from. And so I tend to take the approach of using something like Pro Mix or sphagnum peat moss, things like that, and combining that with local compost or local resources, or making your own compost, and that way you can have the best of both worlds. Because I think I just think that you're spending a lot for not knowing a whole lot. You know what I mean? You're spending a ton of money for something that they say is great, but it could be really great. If I don't know where it comes from, I can't put that in my garden. I don't know, the source of things. So let's see here. Leanna Larson, does your wife love gardening as much as you? Well, I mean, that would be a question for Mrs. MIgardener, but I can say she definitely has a passion for it. She definitely loves it. I think she started loving it more once we realized it was something we could do together. I'm not sure if it was, because we met through MIgardener. So she obviously had a love of gardening. She wanted to grow her own food to live healthier, and she was looking into more of a plant-based diet. And so that kind of got her into gardening. But I don't know if it really kept her gardening. You know what I mean? Like, some people will dabble with gardening because they're interested in it. And I think surrounding herself with someone like me, I think has kind of allowed her to love gardening more. So I don't know if she loves gardening as much as me, but she definitely does enjoy it. And I think it's really nice for a husband and wife to be able to do that. I know there's a lot of husband and wife couples that can speak for where I'm coming from, where it's just fun to be out with someone that you can share a memory with, or you can both harvest something and have the same level of pride in it. That's fun. So yeah. But remember, folks, we're trying to keep it to MIgardener specific questions. We've done a ton of gardening Q&As, and I will do more garden related Q&As. I just, at least for a little bit, maybe even 15 minutes, maybe half this live stream, I'd like to keep it MIgardener specific. So there's so many people that want to get to know us, and so many people have gardening questions that sometimes the gardening questions overshadow the questions that people have that they want to get to know about us. So keep it specific for just a little bit, and then we can go off topic and do gardening Q&As later. Let's see here. And does anyone else have bad black fly problems? We have terrible flies around here. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing. I've never lived in a place where there's flies such as bad as this place. It's crazy. They're like everywhere this time of year. I can't wait for it to get cold, but I also can't wait for it to get cold because it'll like make them leave. Every time it's above 75 degrees, they come out in droves. Sharp Blade, are you a vegetarian, Luke? I am not a vegetarian. I've always taken this approach. I don't believe in a specific diet. I don't like restrictions. I like eating what I like to eat. And what I tend to gravitate more towards is like plant-based. I don't ever set any restrictions saying I'm gonna wake up today, I'm gonna have this, and if I break away from that, I'm upset at myself. I just say what I feel like eating. Like, for instance, today Mrs. MIgardener and I literally just cooked up spinach, rice, and beans, and had that with some sauteed mushrooms and a little bit of feta cheese on top. Like, it was so simple, so delicious, super healthy. and like energy packed. I mean, it's really delicious. But if I happen to feel like I'm in the mood for fish, I'll cook fish. If I happen to feel like I'm in the mood for, chicken, I'll cook chicken. I mean, it's more of a luxury. It's a rare occasion that we'll eat that kind of stuff. But, it's just, I don't get bound by terms and different things like that. So, Mary Quite, do you regularly juice? I would say I don't. Well, I don't regularly juice, but I juice as a practice. I think drinking a really raw juice is very good for you. It's super energy packed. It's great for weight loss and helping with inflammation and things like that. Like it's definitely something that I practice, especially in the midsummer. I don't juice as much because we're getting so much stuff from the garden, and there's so much stuff accessible that I can eat rather than juice. I like to chew things. I think it's we're given jaws and teeth to chew, and I think just drinking something really takes kind of the pleasure out of eating. It's just kind of like quick and done, and there's not really a whole lot of social experience around it. And I think that's I love that about eating, and so in cooking and all that kind of stuff. It's such a social experience that we can have friends over, and Mrs. MIgardener and I get together, and we make a meal together. It's fun, but the times that I do find myself juicing a lot more is in fall, winter, and spring, because I have bad spring allergies and I have bad fall allergies. That leads to a lot of inflammation in my face. I'm way more prone to get sick at those times. Not only that, but your immune system is naturally getting worn down from the weather changes and things like that. Wintertime, when the flu's around, and fresh food is not as accessible, I'll find myself juicing actually more during the fall, winter, and spring than I do in midsummer. So right now I don't juice as much. But like I said, come fall, winter, spring, I'll probably find myself juicing at least once or twice a week. And I don't make it a all the time practice, just because I don't do something based out of ritual. I'm not a ritualistic person. What do I feel like doing for the day? And I like that. I like being a little more unbound. So, John Doe is starting a community garden, something that interests you. Yes, absolutely, John. I have something in my eye. I'm not sure what that was. Sorry about that. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to start a community garden. In fact, Mrs. MIgardener and I have actually been kind of in the works with the city that we currently live in. We're looking at possibly working with them to acquire some land. And one of the things about community gardens is it would have to be a privately owned community garden. I'm not against working with government. The problem is that government doesn't work fast enough for me. There's just too much bureaucracy, too much red tape, too many what ifs and 1 in a million scenarios that it really just stagnates my excitement and innovation. And anyone that's around me knows that. I have just this go-go mentality that if something doesn't, if I'm snapping my fingers and I have time to snap my fingers, it's already too slow for me. And that's why we've been able to grow so fast and do the things that we've been able to do with MIgardener, is because it's like if someone's holding me back, you just get out of my way. I could do it faster by myself. And so yeah, we are definitely really, really interested in doing a community garden, and that type of thing is certainly something that is not necessarily on the back burner right now, but come next spring again, because it's a little bit too late to even start worrying about it. But next spring we'll come back to the drawing board, and we're looking at a couple properties that are really good potential properties. The thing is, we'd have to be able to, like I said, we have to be able to buy them ourselves with our own money, or money that we can crowdfund from everyone and come together, because I'm not going to do it with them. It's just, I sat down for a good week with the city looking at different options, and it was just, you can't get anywhere. So unfortunately, that's kind of how things go. But yeah, so yes, very interested in community garden. Oh, very good question from Michelle V 222. Do you have any other hobbies other than gardening? I'm so glad you asked. Yeah, hobbies is something that Mrs. MIgardener talked about a lot, and we love to play. So we love to play badminton. We love to play tennis. I love to play golf. I also love to fish. And another strange hobby that I don't have as much, that I don't do it as much now that I've gotten a lot more busy, is I actually really love garage sailing. I love looking for like deals and unique things and finds. I used to collect fishing lures because I was so into fishing that I liked the vintage fishing lures, and I still do that from time to time. If we're driving by a garage sale and stuff, I'll stop. But I just don't have as much time to do that anymore. It's just certain things get pushed to the wayside when you have life and family and a business and other hobbies that take up that time. But yeah, we definitely do try to keep ourselves busy, especially right now when it's like kind of a slow season in a way. A lot of people think that it's like the busy season for us. We're go. Actually, right now is our slowest time. So right now is kind of where we find ourselves kind of sitting back on a Sunday going, wow, what do you want to, honey, what do you want to do? And so it's nice. It's actually nice to have that little bit of a slowdown. And so obviously after this live stream is done, we're going to head up and I'm going to get a new fishing rod because I actually sold a couple years back. I didn't think I'd actually get into river fishing. And so you got to get a big sturdy rod for river fishing to hold up to the current. And so, yeah, we're going to go pick up a river rod so I can do some river fishing. I think I'm going to get back into it. It's fun. It's a passion of mine for sure. So, yep, those are some of the hobbies. Really good question. Kaylee Buchanan, what's your favorite meal to make? Man, that's tough. Little preface. I love cooking. I love grilling. I love making food. I like the art behind it as well as just kind of the blank canvas of like, I have these ingredients, what can I make? I just have such a passion for cooking, which also goes back to the last question. Cooking or grilling, cooking is definitely one of my other hobbies. And I do find that I constantly have this reoccurring thought that if I ever stop doing what I'm currently doing, what would I do next? It'd have to be run a restaurant. I would have to be able to do like a farm-to-table restaurant, something like that. And so my favorite dish to make is anything, oh man, anything that I can make like farm-to-table. I guess I'm not big into like baking. I'm not big into using ovens. I like really natural elements, flames, things like that, stuff that I can cook with really readily and fast. And I don't know, I like colorful foods, so yeah, definitely fun. So you could probably hear Geneva in the background. She's having a blast. I don't know what she's doing, but she's making a good amount of noise there. Chad D79, how are the arborvitaes? I'm going to be actually doing an update on the arborvitaes, but I'll give you a quick update, a verbal update. The arborvitaes are doing okay. We had, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. We had 3 die and a half of one, which I think is going to bounce back. It's just the top died off the top. So out of 34 trees, to lose 3, really not that bad. You're going to lose some, but it's one of those things that, people don't like to see trees die, and they say, oh, why are you neglecting your trees? As a gardener myself, you have to assume that when you plant that many trees, something is going to go wrong with at least 1 or 2 of them. And in our case, 3 of them died. It just so happened that we planted them at the hottest and driest season ever. And I mean ever. We have never had a season this dry. It's rained once in the past 3 weeks, and that was the last time it rained in the past 9 weeks. So we've had rain once in 12 weeks. 12 weeks with just one time of rain, and it was maybe like a 5-minute, maybe 3 to 5 minute rain at that. It's bone dry. So rightfully so, the trees are very, very stressed. So to only lose 3, it's not a big deal. Let's see here. I'm getting some good. Man, there's so many comments, but a lot of them are just talking back and forth, trying to pick out some good questions. Remember, again, folks, we're trying to keep it to like MIgardener related questions, stuff that you've always wondered about me, stuff that you've always wondered about, Mrs. MIgardener or the channel, maybe things behind our mission, like what, things like that, whatever you're curious about, from a back end perspective would be great. I'd love to answer those, because we get asked those so frequently that I just figured I'd do a Q&A on them today. Are you planning for any more kids? Not at the moment. Not Cindy? Yeah, not at the moment. Yeah. No, definitely not at the moment. Cindy, are you in agreement with that?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, Cindy says that's probably a good idea.
Davis does not want it. What happened to the base? Yeah.
What's up?
We're gonna join you.
Oh, cool. Awesome. We only have about 8 more minutes, so it's good that you joined us. Okay. Courtney Montgomery, how did you get started gardening?
Can you sit over there?
Yeah, you can sit over here. So, okay, one second.
Oh my goodness, is there wasps?
No, it's just flies. It's just, oh, those flies are crazy. I don't know why there's so many of them.
What? Are you not happy we're here?
No, I'm fine. Okay, so the question was how I got into gardening. So I got into gardening when I was pretty much Geneva's age. When I was your age, I got into gardening. My mom had me out in the garden because she couldn't watch me indoors and garden outdoors. She was really big into flower gardening, and she was part of our city's garden club. And so I was into flowers from earlier than Geneva. I mean, I was probably like maybe a couple weeks old when she had me out in the garden. But I really got into gardening when I was about 5 years old. That sounds great, I know. You're shaking the phone, my love. You're shaking the phone. So I was I was in the garden when I was like 5 years old, and my mom gave me a tomato plant to take care of, and that's what started my passion and my love of gardening, because it was such a fascinating thing that I could grow a tomato and grow our own food with it. It started just a small little thing, and it grew something that I could eat, and so that really got me hooked. And that was all from my upbringing. And then my mom gave me 10 square feet behind our garage to grow a small vegetable garden, and that was great. And that just expanded into maybe 100 square feet or so, and then 1,000 square feet, and then we did a 3,500 square foot garden, and then we added on to this one, which is like another, I don't know, 2,000 square feet. So now we're up to like 5,000 square feet of gardening space. So it all has to start somewhere. Let's see here.
Someone was asking about canning videos, and Luke and I think we are going to film a couple of videos today on canning, because we're looking to ferment, do sauerkraut, do pickled jalapenos, I think, too, pickled peppers.
Pickled banana peppers, for sure.
Pickled banana peppers, and so, yes, they are coming. It's just, sometimes we just need some projects to get done and we're not able to film them right away, but yes, we will.
Yeah, everything's in the works. Hey, go Tigers! Yeah, we wish they were doing a little bit better this year. It's one of the,
I'm from Chicago, so I should be cheering on the Cubs, right?
Better not be.
But
not here, at least.
I live in Michigan.
It's Tigers country. So no, and we also going back to the hobby that someone asked what our favorite hobbies were. We love watching baseball. It started out, I was the only one that loved it, and then Cindy started liking it, and now she's almost as diehard as I am. That's a big yawn.
And she just had a 3-hour nap.
Wow, sleepy. I wish I could be a kid sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, my parents didn't really were into baseball. Luke's family has been always into baseball, so.
Would you ever consider getting rain barrels to save water? Yes, John, we are definitely going to do that. We're certainly going to be doing rain barrel water catchment. We have 2 downspouts on either side of this house, and that's for a spring project. It's just, I don't mean to say this in a negative way towards anyone, but I think that oftentimes a lot of people think that because I'm here all the time, I have endless amounts of free time. That's not the case.
It's amazing. I think everybody can relate. It's just your day goes by so fast.
I have so many projects. I haven't even started yet.
Yeah, we have the little dry erase board that we put to-dos every day. And
so it's a project for next spring. I'm just putting it off because I have so many other projects.
We still have to stain the deck too.
We still have to stain the deck. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so we have to stain the deck. So, Cindy, what's your favorite book?
Oh, well, recently I've been reading a book. Well, there's 3 books. Well, there's 2 that I'm reading right now that I'm really happy to be reading. But one that I really loved reading that I finished was the Magnolia Story. So that was, I really enjoy the Fixer Upper show. So just hearing about their story, it reminds me of Luke and I, beginning here and there with things. So that's a really good read. Another one is called 1 + 1 is 3, and you can find it on Amazon by the title. I don't know the author, but it gives a little snippets on people who are, if you're trying to be creative, or how some of the most successful people have been creative in the way of getting successful by not being so conventional or doing things the cookie cutter way, which is what I think Luke and I really want, that spirit in our business, that we don't really do things in a cookie cutter way. We try to do everything ourselves instead of just trying to, be a company that gets funded right away and just kind of let things happen organically. And another one, it's on Amish parenting. I mean, Luke and I live really close to a lot of Amish communities here, and it's really amazing to see how well behaved those kids are, how content, and also how they bring each other together to just create something. They're really good at agricultural. They're really good at making furniture and things like that. So I just wanted to learn a little bit on how they parent their kids to hopefully apply a couple of things to me as a new parent. So that's one book.
Just I think it's also great because we live in such a culture that is so materialistic.
Yes.
We live in such a materialistic culture that I think sometimes it's hard for parents to raise their kids. It puts parents between a rock and a hard place, because it's we know it's important to live simplistic lives and to not be overly materialistic, but the world is constantly driving us towards this habit of overconsumption, and it's how have people who are so content with their lives, how have they been able to balance children's happiness with everyday life? Because I think it's a real cruel thing that companies do. I mean, it's a great marketing tactic, but they use children to sell the toys, to the parents. They'll tell kids, hey, you need this toy, and then parents are like, well, you don't need this toy, and then they throw a fit, So
I think gross. No.
So
she just discovered the hole in her nose.
we all remember that phase, don't we? Yes.
You're so giggly.
Yeah, wait till she discovers both of them at once. How did we meet? We've already kind of covered this one a lot, but I'll quickly cover it.
YouTube.
Yeah. So I had a YouTube channel, and Cindy was getting into gardening just to eat healthier and just live more plant-based. And she came across my videos, and then she stumbled onto my Facebook page. And started asking,
MIgardener Facebook page, okay? I didn't go stalking.
The MIgardener Facebook page, and she started asking some questions, and I noticed she was from Chicago, and so
and I think also why he wanted to talk to me is because you know, we're pretty much around the same age, and
yeah, there wasn't a lot.
It's kind of hard to find people our age who are into gardening, unless they're doing like urban gardening out in the cities. But not a lot of people our age are young and living in a suburb gardening kind of thing. So it's a little hard to find like-minded people.
Do you want to let her roam in the grass? Maybe it'll keep her finger out of her nose because she's getting bored.
No, because she thinks it's making us laugh. Isn't it making us laugh?
Here, Geneva. Here.
Tomatillo?
Here's a tomatillo. Here you go. That won't fit in your nose. All right. Next question. All right, we'll do 2 more questions because we're already past the time. I stick to my promises. I promised Cindy it'd be no more than 30 minutes. We're already at 31, so I want to keep it as close to my promise as I can get.
Do you buy fruits? What do you buy fruits?
Bless you. Bless you.
Yes, we do buy from occasionally, from the store, herbs, and we didn't plant cilantro.
Well, we did,
but
it went to seed so quickly.
Yeah, it went to seed so quickly, so we still avocados. We can grow avocados. We love avocados and lemons, citruses. You don't get that many from our trees, so yeah. We do go to the store still.
Yeah.
We try to go to farmers market if there's things in season.
Yeah, definitely. We love supporting farmers markets. That's a big thing that we do. So it's yes. Here, have a second tomatillo. There you go. There's tomatillos for you. Okay. Okay, last question here.
She does not have anything in her nose. She's just trying to be funny.
How old is Geneva? She just
turned 14 months.
Just turned 14 months. Yep.
How old are you? 1. You remember? 1. How old are you?
All right. Last question.
Yeah, we have made some of Geneva's food from the garden a bit. We make into little baby pouches and freeze them. Jeez.
Man, so many.
Favorite sweet treat? Did you ever answer that?
I saw favorite sweet. I mean, it's not.
Luke loves chocolate chip cookies or chocolate peanut butter ice cream. Is his device.
We all have a guilty pleasure. It's all about balance, though. You don't eat it all the time.
He loves raw chocolate chip cookie dough, which I find gross.
I will admit, I liked it a lot more before I started converting my diet to more of a plant-based healthy approach. I was terrible with that kind of stuff in high school and when I didn't have much restraint. But now
well, even you liking doesn't mean there is no restraint.
It's no. Well, I mean, I'm saying like I was a lot more gluttonous. Let's put it that way. Now, if I eat like 2 spoonfuls of chocolate chip cookie dough, like not like heaping spoonfuls. I mean like small spoonfuls. I'm like, okay, it's probably enough. Like it's kind of a little bit too much now. So I find that like my taste buds have changed quite a bit in recent years.
Luke's birthday is January 22nd.
Yep.
Mine's April 22nd. Geneva's June 23rd. Not 22nd. That would have been cool.
All right. Last question. Okay. I did see a question in here why we started MIgardener as a business, and I think that's a good question to end on. The reason why, and I apologize, I couldn't quite see. It kind of froze and lagged, and then all the questions came at once. The reason why I started MIgardener as a business was because I was always into gardening as a gardener, and I was really upset with how information was being conveyed. I was also upset with the lack of quality products out there that you could rely on as a gardener, and everyone was kind of trying to make a quick buck, but no one was really looking out for the gardener as a gardener. And
I turn her this way.
So I started MIgardener to kind of be that change that I wanted to see, because I just couldn't stand putting my dollars towards something that I knowingly knew was mediocre, or that I knowingly knew was not going to really benefit me in the best way possible. And so I've always had that thing where it's like, if something's not perfect, what can I do to make it as perfect as it can be? And so I just started MIgardener, and I started with, what I could to make it happen, and it just kind of grew from there. And I've always said that it's the passion behind it that allows it to grow so fast. It's the passion behind it that people can attract to, and it's the fact that I'm starting from a genuine place. I'm not saying, I'm not some person who says, what's an industry that I can make a quick buck in, and I just like randomly roll a dice and end up with gardening. I started with gardening as a passion. I realized that there was flaws in the gardening community and gardening industry, and I sought to fix those flaws that I could fix. That's really what it came down to. And so for me, I'm like helping myself in a way. I'm helping myself, and then in the process, I'm helping hundreds of thousands of other people, that's the best thing you could ask for. That's what I just find so incredible. So,
and also it's like an extension of what you guys have on YouTube, because if Luke and I talk about, like, well, if YouTube were to be gone tomorrow, how would we be able to still connect with you guys and provide any free information or things like that? Then that's also why MIgardener is in place too. MIgardener.com is a place that we'll always be able to hopefully upkeep, and so.
Yeah, and one last super quick question too, I just saw it pop up, was how did you afford the house? And I don't like to talk about stuff like that. I mean, that question even came up, we were talking about that the other night. People oftentimes ask like how we afforded our house, and I will say right off the bat, it was not because of my parents. That really is something you do not want to say to me, because I started from very, very, very humble beginnings, and I grinded my way to where I am today. And so it was a blessing that it was an absolute blessing that I was able to put a down payment on a house, that I was able to have the credit history to get the house, and then the rest is normal. I mean, we did get help from FHA. Obviously, that's something that young couples get a lot with, is because you have college debt and not a lot of good credit history and things like that. Being an entrepreneur, they really didn't love that. But I can safely say that my parents did not buy our house. My parents did not, they didn't make it happen. They didn't do anything. Besides say, they were there kind of clapping their hands and patting our back.
Besides, before even having our house, it's not like we got married and all of a sudden had a house. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. One bedroom was our office and the other, our bedroom. And we saved up, and we're smart with what we save up. And also, I think people should living within our
means.
And also, people should not be ashamed to just start with what they do have and start small, and work towards that goal.
Yeah, so many people look for other people's approval, and it pushes them to live up. Shh, okay, please. So many people look. So many people live for other people's approval, and when you strive for someone else's approval, you're always going to be living outside of living outside of your means. Shh, can you please stop? My goodness,
She's so
you're
talkative.
so loud.
It's okay.
I've never heard. Only when she doesn't have 100% attention. That's not a good habit. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the tomatillo.
Where's Papa? Where's
Okay.
Papa?
But no, I mean, it really just you know, I want people to understand that too. You know, I think, and I'll say this: if we ever get to the point of financial freedom that we can buy a 4,000 square foot house, it'll be because we wholeheartedly earned every single penny of it, working, slaving, and if we get to that point, I might not even want to buy a 4,000 square. I mean, it's like one of those things. Is like at some point, it's more than you need, and we're not there yet. We're nowhere near that.
And there's trade-offs. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't go. We don't do what's it called? We don't go blow up our money on.
Yeah. But that's a question I really would like to see coming up less. Anytime I show the house, everyone's always, it comes up maybe at least once or twice a month. Someone says, you know, boy, I wish I had parents that could afford a house like that. And it just grinds my gears. And the person that commented, I'm not talking about you. You just simply asked, you know, how did you afford your house? So not lumping you into the same group. I'm just saying it's a personal topic. I'm not afraid to talk about it. It's not really gardening related, so I don't ever bring it up in normal videos. So that's why I find
But we understand the curiosity of people sometimes, because sometimes it seems like such a far-fetched dream, but it's like, no, if you just take the necessary steps to be smart with your money, then, you know.
Let's put it this way.
Or work hard.
Let's put it this way.
Hard.
Let's put it this way. We were renting for $550 a month was our rent. And if your rent is $550 a month, and someone says that your mortgage for a house will be $750 a month or $700 a month, that means you have to cut about $150, $200. You have to cut about $150, $200 of a month off of your spending. So if you're going out to the movies once a week, you know, if you're going out and buying fast food once a week, please. If you're going out to movies like once a week, and you know, if there's places that you can cut your spending and save that money, that all adds up to a house. That you can call your own, that you can do whatever you want. You don't have to ask a landlord if you can repaint the walls. You can do whatever you want. And it's just about a matter of importance. Some people don't put an importance on owning a house. Some people like to rent, and that's fine too. We've always just been people of freedom. I want one day to own this house right out, so that I can, you know, give it to Geneva when she's older. And I think that's just something that, you know, that's where we come from a personal aspect. But it's fun, and I always like that too, because we wouldn't be able to have the garden if we were renting. We wouldn't be able to have the garden.
Yeah.
So, and I just like having that freedom of say, the freedom of choice. Okay.
Geneva, look, say bye.
And the final thing is, Geneva, you have the floor. Watch her not say anything. She won't say anything.
Geneva, you want to say what the birds you've been watching? Where are they? She doesn't. Let's see.
So, anyways, no, that was the last question. I just wanted to.
What is the shelf life of trifecta?
2 years. Simple. Yep, just 2 years. So many flies. All right. Well, we're gonna leave fly country. We're gonna head up. We're gonna get that river fishing rod, and maybe do a little bit of river fishing later today. Maybe a little bit. So, anyways, we hope you all have a very blessed Sunday. Get outside, spend some time.
Can you dance? Can you
get
dance?
outside, spend some time.
Do you like to dance?
Get outside, spend some time with your family.
Dance.
Time is just so short. It's such a precious commodity that if you squander it, you'll never get it back.
Yeah.
So, anyways, on that note, we love you all.
Thanks for joining us,
Thank you so much for joining us. We love you so much. We appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts, and we will see you all tomorrow with a very good video, a potato harvest. So, yeah. So we harvested potatoes, and you know, spoiler alert. If you don't want to see how much we got, don't check out Facebook. Everyone on Facebook already... Instagram. Don't check us out on Facebook or Instagram for like a day, and you won't see what we got. And that's coming up on Monday, tomorrow. So anyways, we'll see you all tomorrow. And any final words?
Have a wonderful day, guys.
All right. As always,
out.
yep. As always, this is Luke,
Cindy, and Geneva
from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home. See ya. Bye, guys.